So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now 7 p.m. The date is July 14th, 2020, and we're commencing the monthly meeting of the Town of Thompson Inland Wetlands Commission. My name is George O'Neill, and I'm the chair of this commission. I think it's important to note that this is a web-based meeting using Zoom. We're operating under the following procedures, and I think it's important that we review these for each meeting. The session is being audio recorded. In addition, we're recording the video of the proceedings. To ensure sound quality, the default rule for this meeting is that everyone will remain on mute. Commissioners and staff will generally remain on mute except when speaking or voting, and will generally be keeping video of themselves on throughout the meeting. Applicants and members of the public should feel free to leave their video on or off. However, you will be asked to turn on your video when speaking. I think it's often said that a picture tells 1,000 words, and certainly can be helpful in communicating, even using Zoom. However, if for some reason you do not have video available, you will not be precluded from speaking or providing public testimony. There will be a section for citizens' comments on agenda items, which is listed on the agenda that's been distributed. Now, as with any on-site meeting, during a Zoom meeting, all the normal rules, including stating and now spelling your name and address for the record, will be required. We also have a chat feature, which perhaps at this point many of us are familiar with. Please use the chat feature or to let us know that you have raised your hand or have a question. If you're speaking at this meeting and have an exhibit to submit to the commission, which was not distributed in advance of the meeting with the rest of the materials, please indicate that you wish to submit an exhibit. You will need to hold it up to the camera so that the commission and all the members of the public may review it. In addition, you'll be required to email the exhibit or take a photo of it and email it to the Wetlands office at wetlands@thompsonct.org. That will then it'll be made part of the public record. Members of the public may only speak during that citizens comment section on the agenda item. If a member of the public speaks outside of the citizens comment section and creates an audio or perhaps video disruption, they may be manually ejected from the meeting upon recommendation of staff to the chair or the chair. So that is a pre-introduction. I'll call this meeting to order. I see it is now at 7:03 p.m. and ask by voice acknowledgement that each commissioner acknowledge their presence. Commissioner Obert.
Charlie Obert here, present.
Commissioner Marino. Commissioner Chapin.
Here.
Commissioner Roach.
Present.
I don't know, and other individuals present that are on the commission? Marl, I guess you'll have to, I didn't leave a spot for you.
Marla Buss speaking. I think you should need to appoint Barbara as an alternate to the commission since Fran is not here.
All right, I'm appointing Barbara Roach as an alternate. And Barb, are you present?
I am. Barbara Roach, present.
Okay, we have seated the alternates. Now, as I mentioned earlier, action on minutes of previous meeting, the minutes of June 9th, 2020. Are there any additions, corrections from any of the commissioners?
Barbara Roach, I see no corrections.
Any other commissioners have any corrections?
I have
Nope.
no corrections.
Okay, none, no objections and no corrections. The minutes will stand for the June 9th, 2020 meeting. Section D, citizens' comments on agenda items.
Yeah, this is Joe Pritzbulik. I live on Little Pond Lake. Can you hear me okay?
Joe, I didn't quite catch your last name. If you would just restate it, please.
Sure, it's Pritzbulik, P-R-Z-Y-B-Y-L-E-K.
Yes, Mrs. Pritzbulik.
So I live on Little Pond Lake, and what I wanted to bring up was a couple of things that violations that were on last month's meeting minutes, and then obviously are in this month's meeting as well, which is the BIOL 20018 and 20019, located at 1227 Thompson Road. And I'm just going to go to the minutes here and read them for a second. So in the minutes from last month, it was stated that Mr. Wall would remove tree debris in the water and would also put some stakes and better support the silt fencing that is falling down on that property. And at this point, as of this afternoon, nothing has been done in that area. I was just curious from a wetlands perspective, is there a time frame where you guys are expecting to have things that come up in meetings to be done?
So thank you for bringing that question to our attention, Mr. Prezelic. And I view your comment and your request as being a pointing out a potential violation. Is that the intent of your comment, correct?
Well, a correction to a violation, yes.
So it's a question about a violation. You know, that's a great question. I'll ask if possible, our inland wetlands agent to address the question.
Well, but speaking, I think probably would be best when we get to the application for Mr. Bear to discuss that at that time,
All right,
as well as, yeah, as a follow-up to the violations.
All right, then. So for the citizens' comments, again, the focus is on potential violations or procedural questions. So you've raised the question. Thank you for bringing it up. When that item comes up, we'll ask the applicant and/or to address your concern.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, are there any other citizens' comments on agenda items?
Is it Dave Poplowski?
Yes, Dave. Mr. Poplowski. What's your address, please?
Dave Poplowski, POP, LAWSKI, 177 Porter Plain Road, Thompson, Connecticut.
Yes, sir.
I have a comment about the new application, WAA 20022. I own property at 1247 Thompson Road, and I have a lot that I'm proposing to build a house on. I had a application in front of that was approved through inland wetlands and also through the building department. It has an approved septic system, and on the plans that I have, you know, it says that large specimen trees need to be they're on the engineered plans that they have to be kept. It shows the diagram of the silt fence. It shows the trees that have to stay. And I'm just hoping that the commission, as they review that application, requires the same functionality from those engineered plans. I know that there is a violation right now, and unfortunately the trees are gone. But I'd ask the commission to be sure that as you review that plan, that you have certified engineering for what specimen trees should be replaced, and also the slope at 193, so that where the gravel was excavated, the rocks were excavated, the DOT signs off on that, or there's a lot of engineering that goes along with those plans when they're submitted.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, I'll view that as a question regarding a potential violation, because in cases like this, when there's an application, the applicants and their technical experts are supposed to give comment, and if we're going to have a large discussion on it, then it would be a hearings. But thank you for bringing up that potential concern over potential violation. All right. If there are no other citizens' comments, we'll move on to applications, starting with Section E, old applications. The first is WAA 20004, Richard A. Odette, 50 Wrightson Drive, Assessors Map 143, Block 17, Lot 18, construct a 20 by 24 shed on piers in the 100-foot upland review area for aquatic reservoir, stamped received 2/5/2020 under review pending NDDH approval and handing roof runoff.
Marla Butt speaking. On Thursday, July 2nd, I received an email from Mr. Audette. He said that he has submitted his B100A application to NDDH that morning, and for the replacement of the shed. He also acknowledged that he needed to figure out a way to handle the roof runoff, and he's investigating that. I did a follow-up to him, asking him to provide me information on that, and he got back to me that said that he was investigating it. So as far as I know, there's been no approval by NDDH yet for the shed, and I'm still waiting to hear from him about how he's going to handle the roof runoff. So it's still pending.
Still pending. Do any of the commissioners have any questions regarding this old application? All right.
Please help me to understand, what's the delay in his getting his report back to us?
Marla Butt speaking. As you recall, he had a tank that he knew, but he didn't know where the leach field was. So
Correct.
he was supposed to hire a company to put a camera down, and he came back with a report that he said he sent to NDDH. NDDH is going to determine whether that's adequate or not. And since he has sent in his B100A application to NDDH, they will determine whether his investigation was adequate. So if
Okay.
NDDH says that it's okay, then that releases that hurdle. Then the only hurdle left is how is he going to handle the roof runoff?
Okay. Which is important because of the steepness of the hillside, but I missed the one part of the report that indicated that the Department of Health is processing it. I missed that. So he has not been idle. He's been working on it.
Correct.
I'm okay.
All right. Thank you, Marla. Moving on to the next item, WAA 20009, Hallett T. Merrick, 0 Plum Road, Assessors Map 85, Block 52, Lot 12. Construction of a single-family home, septic system in portion of the home proposed in 100-foot upland review area. Stamped review received on 4/13/2020. Under review pending receipt of additional information. Have we received our additional information, Marla?
No, as you recall, this Plum Road, where he wants to build his house, is an unimproved town road, and he's being required to do improvements by the town. And so he's going to have to do additional work. On July 2nd, I got an email from Bruce Woodis of KWP Engineering, and he said that they have been retained by Mr. Merrick to update and revise the site plan for the wetlands application, and will need additional time to provide the updated plan and the health department review required for the application. He was asking for a 30-day extension that he thought was adequate. I then responded to him by phone and asked him if there was any work in upgrading Plum Road that involved work in an upland review area or involved work in wetlands and watercourses. Then the application would have to be either adjusted or he'd have to submit, if it involved work in wetlands and watercourses, we could convert this application to an individual application that the commission would review, or he'd have to submit a new application for that wetland watercourse work. So right now it's on hold, waiting to see what the engineer comes back, because I had originally asked him to provide comments by the 7th, by the 1st of July, and the engineer has asked for 30 more days. So I expect I'll have some kind of update by next month's meeting.
Thank you. So we're waiting additional information. An extension was given to provide that information. Item
Correct.
number 3 is IWA 20011, James Jasmine, 514 Brady Hill Road, Assessors Map 143, Block 16, Lot 37. An after-the-fact application for partial demolition of retaining wall and construction of a new retaining wall on Aquatic Reservoir. Stamped received 5/6/2020. Statutorily received on 5/14/2020.
Marla Butts speaking. I was approached by the building office to sign off on a new deck for the front of the cottage. And that was an 8-foot by 20-foot deck. And I notified the Daniel Blanchette that that would have to get an approval. I was not going to modify the old wetlands agent approval that had been done for the foundation, which brought us to the wall issue, rather that to amend the wall application to include the deck. So today I received revised plans from Daniel Blanchette that included the construction of a deck on the front, that is the east side, away from the lake of the cottage. And I'll send the Wetlands Commission the revised drawings before the next meeting so they can look at that. It's that the deck is probably not problematic, but it's in the upland review area. Second, in speaking or in communicating with Daniel Blanchette, he had not gotten any response back from DEEP yet. And perhaps, Daniel, you should explain this to the commission, what information you have received or not received from DEP regarding their position on the wall.
So Mr. Blanchette, I see he's present. Would be helpful for perhaps the other citizens that may not be familiar with J&D to sort of give a background of who you're representing and what your credentials are as respects J&D. If you would, please.
Okay. Hopefully everyone can hear me. My name is Daniel Blanchette. I'm a licensed civil engineer. I work with J&D Civil Engineering out of Thompson, Connecticut. I was hired by the owner, Mr. James Jasmine, to assist him with some of these permitting issues. As we discussed last month, the retaining wall is over the property line within the lake. And so I've been trying to get some sort of letter from someone at DEEP stating they have no objection to Mr. Jasmine being able to access and maintain his wall. I've been in communication with the head of the survey department at DEEP, and he has been trying to coordinate, I think, with someone in their legal department to get some kind of letter. But as of right now, I have kind of the unofficial thumbs up, but nothing formal to submit. I will try to have it for next month.
Marla Butts speaking. Daniel, do you have the name of the person at DEP that you're working with?
I'm kind of, let me see. I'm blanking on his name.
Could you send me an email with his name so that I can start initiating contact? Might get a better response if I contact them.
Of course.
Just give me his name by email. Yeah, fine.
For the record. All right, so additional information is forthcoming. And it sounds like from your comments, Mr. Blanchette, that it seems like there's no major opposition, but just finding certainty or to memorialize the favorable position is becoming problematic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to get something over the phone, but to put it in writing, I think, has a little more scrutiny, so.
All right. Is there anything else?
George, Marla speaking. The problem is that DEP knows it owns the water rights to the lake, so that the volume of water that's in the lake, the state owns that. But it's unclear, according to them, who owns the bottom. So what I'm trying to get from them, because the wall is not on Mr. Jasmine's property, I'm trying to get DEP to make a statement that they have no objection to the wall being there. So by putting the wall in there, that technically reduces the volume of the water rights that they have. By shrinking down the size of the impoundment, you impinge upon the water rights. I want them to be able to say they have no problem. I suspect they have no problem with respect to the water rights, but I also want them to state that they don't have a problem at all. So that if something comes back, that's not gonna, there'll be something in writing that says this was acceptable. Because typically you shouldn't be issuing permits on property that has not had a sign off by the property owner. But since we don't know who owns the bottom, that becomes a little more problematic. So sometimes these reservoirs that were built for factory purposes, for water supply, a lot of times, there have been times when the land never got purchased, only the right to flood it got purchased. So then when those water rights were sold off to somebody else, the land underneath still could be owned by the original owner from whom the water rights, the flooding rights were granted to. And that's probably the situation in this case. And they just don't know who owns the bottom.
All right, so what the next steps will be to, do you think it's satisfactory to have it await the response, or you're going to have Mr. Blanchett send the info and you're going to follow up with the DEP directly?
I will follow up with DEP directly.
All right. And are there any other comments by commissioners on this old application? Hearing none. Let's move on to the next item, number 4. WAA 20012, Richard DeRocher, DBA J&J Construction LLC, 484 and 486 Aquatic Town Farm Road. Assessors map 158, block 20, lots 8I and 8J. Earth excavation and grading for future residential development. Stamped received 5/6/2020, approved 6/19/2020. Legal notice published on 6/26/2020. End of appeal period July or 7/11/2020.
Marla Butts speaking. The appeal period has passed. It passed on Saturday. There was no appeal received. One thing that I want to note is that there was a special condition that I put on this wetlands agent approval that prohibited Mr. DeRocher from conducting any activities authorized by the approval until such time as the 15-day appeal period had passed, or if an appeal had been filed until the commission rendered a final decision. So at this point, Mr. DeRocher can proceed with the work that he was authorized in wetlands agent approval.
Okay, no further action. I take it. Any commissioner comments? Hearing none. We'll move on to number 5, WAA 20016, Saywet Hydroelectric LLC, 0 West Thompson Road and 12 Old Route 12, Assessors map 67, block 102, lot 26 and 27. Construct photovoltaic solar array in 100-year upland review area for the French and Aquatic Rivers. Stamped received 5/27/2020, approved 6/12/2020. Legal notice published on 6/26/2020. The end of appeal period was 7/11/2020. Any response?
Marla Butts speaking. Again, there were no appeals, and the approval went final on last Saturday.
All right. So, no comments by commissioners. Moving on to number 6.
One quick note, this is Charlie Obert.
Commissioner Obert.
Marla, it seems to me that they must be run out of space for any future panels down in that area. What, did you go and look at it? I haven't been down there in a long time.
Marla Butts speaking. Yeah, they pretty much run out of the space. They have tried to stay out of the 100-year floodplain. My concern was that if they were within the 100-year floodplain and a flood came, that debris could catch on the pilings that hold up the panels, and then could break away and float downstream and cause more problems. What they have is all of their controls, all of their posts that hold the panels in place, They are not in the 100-year floodplain, but some of the panels cantilever out over the 100-year floodplain, but they're pretty much at their maximum that I can see right now, without involving alterations to wetlands.
Okay.
And it's Diane
And-
Chapin. I just have one quick question on that. Is that really stated right? Is that French and aquatic rivers?
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Oh.
correct.
It is. That is correct. Okay.
Isn't it French and Quinnebog rivers?
Yeah, is there aquatic river? I think
That's
it's your
what I was.
question.
Oh,
Is
I'm
that a-
sorry.
that-
You're correct. It's Quinnebog, not Quadic. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
Diane,
Okay.
you're good.
They are both
caught
in
that.
Thompson, though. I've seen them both.
So we have a Scrivener's error correction required, I guess.
Yes.
Have to address that. Aquatic. All right, noted. Okay, then I guess we'll move on to number.
Yeah, one last comment. Are they actually legally responsible to maintain that dam as well?
Marla
The
Budd
hydro.
speaking. Yes, Saywatt Hydroelectric has a hydropower plant there that's licensed by FERC. And
Yeah.
a number of years back, they came and got a wetlands agent, got an individual permit to do some dredging work at the downstream portion of the power plant to remove some accumulated materials. That was probably, I think, maybe 8 years ago. But yeah, they own the hydroelectric plant, they own the dam.
I was surprised that it's made out of wood, but I guess it's, as long as it's maintained, it's fine. But
I
they
believe
just,
it's
like,
I'm sorry.
Charlie, I believe it's a concrete spillway. It failed in 1955 and was rebuilt.
yeah.
So I doubt that I don't think I doubt it's a timber cribbing dam anymore or wooden dam. It is concrete.
There's
can
wood panels.
look
that
at it
slip
if you
in
like.
place. Yeah. Maybe that's just at the headwaters, but I've seen them.
I'll be happy to take you
Yeah,
out there.
I'm curious about the site, and it's good that it can make a few dollars and cents, and I just, like you said, I don't want to see any corners cut that wind up causing problems upstream or down.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Obert. Any other commissioner comments on this old application that's passed? No objections. We're moving on to number 6, WAA 20017, Mark Labonte, 0 Thompson Road, Assessors Map 103, Block 31, Lot 5A. Construct single-family home and appurtenances in the 100-foot upland review area, stamped received 5/20/2020, approved 6/12/2020, legal notice published on 6/26/2020, end of appeal period 7/11/2020. What is
Marla Butt speaking. This application had originally come in and was denied by the commission because there were questions about the drainage on the street and could they move the driveway so that it was no longer in an area that could be used for flood storage, because there's a one catch basin on the west side of Route 193 and it drains to the east side near close to where Mr. Labonte wanted to put his driveway. They approached DOT to move the driveway to the south. DOT said because of the line of sight stopping distances were not adequate, he could not move the driveway to the south. David Held, the engineer, did an analysis to change the design of the driveway so that there was no loss in the storage capacity on the east side of the road. And he also had the soils. There was a question of whether or not the soils were accurately delineated, and he had Joe Thoreau go out and verify the location of the wetlands, and that's what was on the plans. So he fixed all the questions or issues that had been previously in the previously denied application. Those had all been addressed, and that's why I rendered a wetlands agent approval for that. And that appeal period has ended.
Commissioners, comments? All right, moving on to the next, we have number 7, WAA 20020, Joshua and Jessica Roads, 0 Pompeo Road, Assessors Map 61, Block 59, Lot 5A, construct single-family home and appurtenances in 100-foot upland review area. Stamped received on 6/3/2020, approved 6/22/2020, legal notice published on 7/3/2020, end of appeal period 7/18/2020. So we have a few days to go on this.
Marla Butt speaking. That is correct. You did not see the plans on this because I figured it since it was already issued and there's no appeals. Unless there was an appeal, then I would show you the drawings. But if you wish to see the drawings for this, it's a lot that has, it's a kind of like a rear lot. It's got a just small access from the front of Pompeo Road. And then there's a lot of wetlands that are covering the back portion of the lot. But they've kept the house as close as they can to Pompeo Road to eliminate any intrusion into any wetlands. But it's the part of the appurtenances, the driveway, I think, and some of the home that was, and maybe the septic were in the 100-foot upland review area. And that's it.
So just to be clear then, has this plan, the proposal been circulated to the commission?
No. If you want to see it, I'll send it to you, but if there's no appeal, it won't make any difference.
I'd be interested in taking a look at it when, you know, at sometime in the next, between now and the next meeting.
Okay, I will send a copy to all the commissioners, the files, the PDF of the file of the plans.
Great. Thank you.
Charlie
Commissioners,
Ilbert here.
go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, this is a property that if I'm driving north on Pompeo Road, it'll be on the right-hand side, near as I get to Wilsonville Road.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I remember thinking it looked like it was going to be a steep place to design something for, but if somebody designed it, I don't have any problem with it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Obert. Any other commissioner comments? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to number 8. WAA 20021, Beverly Walker, power of attorney for Dorothy Weatherby, 23 Bacola Road, Assessors Map 116, Block 24, Lot 22. Replace failing septic system, approved on 6/24/2020. Legal notice published on 7/3/2020. End of appeal period 7/18/2020. Marla?
What's missing from this is the receipt date. The receipt date was the same day as the issuance for this. It was a failing system. I looked at the plans. They were ready to go to replace the system. This isn't, just before you get to Sand Dam Road on Route 193. On the right-hand side of the road, there's a home that has some, they kind of look like vernal pools, but they're not vernal pools. They're areas that pool in the spring, but then disappear. I drove by the following Monday and the work had already been done. I drove by on Monday, yesterday, and there's grass growing everywhere. So all the work is completely done to repair that septic system. Oh, excuse me, I'm thinking of a different site. 23 Bacola, excuse me, is close to Mark Bear's property. And that was a failing septic system. It's a very tiny cottage, and they were advised to, I put a special condition on that wetlands agent approval that required the engineer to be there while the work was being done, because there was going to be a block retaining wall landward of the water's edge. And I was concerned that if the engineer wasn't there to ensure that they did not go into the water and that it was built according to the plan, I was told by Norm Tybo of Killingley Engineering that he would be there, and I believe that work has already been done.
Barbara Roach,
Go ahead, Barbara.
Barbara Roach speaking. We can see the work daily. They're doing what they need to do. The silt fencing is up. When trees were removed, they went into the pond. They were immediately taken out. There is a block wall that has been damaged in the past, that it's been partially into the pond. So I think as I kayaked by the other day, the wall has deteriorated more, but not a lot, maybe considering the work that they did taking the tree down. But the work they're working out there every day. The area now is covered with dirt, so presumably the septic system has been installed.
So from a, Molly, isn't this one of the properties we looked at?
No, it is not.
Oh. Well, it sounds like we've, consideration has been given to the environmental impact and the, objective of what's the design has been considered. And, it looks like it's been under some of review and evaluation. So is there any other comments by other commissioners or notes?
Marla Splett speaking. If you want, Barbara, I can send you an email containing the unreinforced block wall detail. They're not supposed to be touching anything in the lake itself. They're only supposed to be putting up a wall to hold the soil for the septic system. And that is supposed to be landward of the high water line. And I'm assuming that that's what is built. But if that is not what is built, then let me know.
Well, nothing to my knowledge has been built. This is an old wall that was in disrepair, that has been falling into the pond actually for probably the last few years. I believe that more has fallen into the pond, but right at the water's edge, I'm not aware of any new wall structure that's been built. The silt fencing is, but I'm not aware of any new wall that's been built.
All right, I'll take a look at it. Probably next Monday.
All right, any additional comments? No further comments. We'll move on to item B, new applications. The first new application is WAA 20022, Mark Bear, 1227 Thompson Road, Assessor's Map 116, Block 24, Lot 10. Construct house, well, septic system, driveway, and associated grading. Stamped receive on 6/16/2020. Requires conversion to individual permit application. So what do we have going on here?
Marla Butts speaking. The application, when the plans came in, it came in on a wetlands agent approval form. And when I looked at the drawings and saw the revetment that borders Little Pond, and you look at the, I believe there's a cross section.
Let me find it. Okay, I've got, you want me to show this up? I'll put it on mine if you like.
Yeah, that would probably be good. And oh yeah, it's on the revetment cross section BB.
All right, let me just pull that up.
Daniel, if you could provide an explanation for the actual in-water work, or perhaps explain the overall application, it would be helpful to the commission.
I'm going to need to have our host allow me to share my screen. So would that be Amy, or is that Ashley tonight?
Sorry, George, it's Amy, it's me.
Okay.
Okay, let me see.
I'm just trying to bring up this display.
Is it telling you,
George,
is it saying one participant can share at a time? You should be able to share
Okay, here we
your
go.
screen.
Host disabled, participant screen sharing. That's the alert I'm getting.
One participant can share to multiple. Try now.
Well, certainly, while we're trying to sort out the this was posted on the public website, so all the participants should be able to look at it. I just thought it would be beneficial now that we have our subject matter expert present to help further clarify it. So,
George, it's saying how many participants can share at the same time. One participant can share at the time. Who can share? All participants can share.
okay.
That's what's checked off, so I'm not
All
quite
right,
sure.
let me check my numbers here. Maybe it's operator error. Just trying to I hit my screen share. Oh, here it is. Now it's coming up. So who knows what it could be here.
George, please note that Fran Morano is participating now.
Noted. Welcome, Fran. Okay, now can everyone see is this the display we're referring to? Can everyone see it?
I can see it, George. It's Diane Chapin.
Thank you, Diane.
That's not the correct one.
Okay,
That
new
is
application. This one here?
Keep going. This one.
It's slide 23 of 51.
So, go to 24.
There's
Go
24.
down one page. There you go. See
I
the
think you're-
revetment cross-section, BB, in the upper right-hand corner of that drawing.
I see that, yeah. I'll expand it. How's that? That's BB.
So if you see the water line, the bottom of the revetment is in the water.
Down here?
Correct.
What does everybody want to build in the water for today?
So was there a subject matter expert that was going to comment on this proposal or not?
Daniel?
This is Daniel with J&D Civil Engineers. I've been hired by the owner, Mark Baer, to design his site plan. As you can see, this property is already very steep. And because of the proposed location of his house, we have to make it even a little bit steeper. So erosion at the water's edge was a real concern. To combat that, we're proposing a rock revetment right at the shoreline. Again, to stop the wave action from eroding the yard area. To prevent undermining, the toe of the slope does need to be below the water level a little bit. So right at the water's edge, as Mrs. Butt stated, there will be some work. Hopefully we will minimize any erosion or contamination of the water with the staked straw wattle shown on the left-hand side. And so I guess that's kind of what we're proposing and the idea behind it.
Great.
George, could you back out, please?
Yes, I will. The whole screen, how far back?
Keep going so you see the whole thing. Could you go to the page before that shows the site layout?
All right. Here's the site layout, Little Pond. What, a particular section of it or just the general?
I have a question of Daniel. This application is being received for consideration because I'm asking the commission to review this as an individual permit application. I will not approve a wetlands agent approval for work in the water. It's not appropriate for me to do that. So this application has to be processed as an individual permit application. So I think that it needs to have a motion by the commission to change it from a wetlands agent approval application to an individual permit application. It just changes the call letters.
I make a motion that we move this from a wetlands application to a permit.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a,
Question. I think you stated that wrong. I think it's a wetlands agent approval application to an individual permit application.
Okay, I didn't state it as clearly as you said. You're correct. From a wetlands approval, wetlands agent
Wetlands
approval
agent approval.
to an individual application of approval.
I second that.
We have a motion and second discussion. So we have this application before us. We've got the layout, and we've heard from the engineer, the engineer for the applicant about the logic, the rationale. I guess one question I do have, if I could, is that are there alternatives to the design that you're proposing, Mr. Blanchette, or perhaps this is the best choice? I'm just curious what alternatives there might be.
I really feel that this is the best choice. I think the main alternative you're familiar with is truly a vertical retaining wall at the water's edge. That's what most of the people have around here. The rock revetment offers many advantages. It's cheaper to construct. It's easier to repair if a little piece starts to slip. It's a lot better for wildlife, for frogs, amphibians. These species are interstitial, and so they can go back and forth between the water and the land much more easily.
And if I could add to that, from a long-term and short-term impact on the environment and the wetlands, what do you anticipate, what should we anticipate this change would have?
I don't anticipate any long-term impacts, hopefully. The short-term impacts, again, there'll be a little bit of digging at the water's edge, but with the erosion control in place, I don't expect sediment to enter the main body of water. Any weeds at the edge will be disturbed, unfortunately, but I believe that's kind of the extent of it.
So if I understand you correctly, then the impact on the environment, the wetlands will be fairly modest, and we anticipate it sort of returning to a state, a different state of a more natural state, or a more compatible state, or compared to where it is today?
Yeah, I think the final state will be very close to where it is today, and certainly much better than having a vertical block retaining wall.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie over here. I got a quick question. Daniel, when are you planning on doing this work at the water's edge?
I'd actually have to defer to my client, Mr. Bear, for that. I think more or less as soon as possible. With the nature of the site, once the house is built, he can't really get equipment down to the water's edge.
Yeah,
So
I was afraid of that.
once everything is approved, that's probably what he'll do first, and then kind of work backwards.
And these are going to be made with what, like 4-inch big rocks, 4 and 6 inches big, and laid down in along the shoreline.
Yep.
Hey, it's Diane.
Marla Butts.
One at a time.
Go ahead,
So Diane?
All right, I just have a question. So we have, it's more of a procedural question. We have made a motion and seconded, but we didn't vote on actually changing it. Do we need to vote on accepting that? And then we'll go to the actual permit itself. Do you know what I'm saying? We changed it from an inland wetlands individual,
goodness,
and,
yeah.
and then we went into general discussions.
He's absolutely right. We have to move the question that's made and seconded to change it from a wetlands agent's approval to an individual authorization, whatever the wording was. And the motion is made and seconded.
So then we have our.
That should be done before we get any more time on this.
All right, so if I understand you correctly, then we have to make a vote's required before we can advance this process, correct?
Correct. That's what I was
Right.
thinking.
Thank you for that clarification, Chair, Commissioner. So do we have a vote? I should say, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any commissioners in opposition? Okay, there are no opposition. So now we're moving it from a wetlands agent permit. We've moved it to the next stage.
Yes.
So shall we
Marla
continue?
Butt speaking.
Go ahead, Marla.
Now because it's an individual permit application, this is being received today. So the official receipt date will be today. So you wouldn't be able to render any decisions, at least not until next meeting. And I haven't even reviewed this application yet. There's a lot of questions I have in my mind because the septic system is a pumped system that goes up the hill. And it's a 5-bedroom house, which is much larger than what was originally there, with a 3-car garage. Some of the questions that I would have is what happens when the electricity goes out and you cannot pump the sewage from the 5-bedroom house up the hill. I don't need an answer now. I'm just saying these are some of the things I'm looking at. What about the dry well? How does it function? The pave is curbed on the driveway to drain all of the runoff from the driveway, or half of the runoff from the driveway, into this dry well. And how will that dry well function? That's in the upland review area. And what is the storage capacity of that dry well? These are the kind of things that I'll be looking at, and what I would do is provide a list of questions that I would have for the applicant or his engineer to supply an answer for. But that's just off the top of my head right now, just taking a look at the drawing.
You're gonna look at that Monday? I'll go up with you if you need a co-pilot.
If you'd like to, I think it would be wise to go and take a look because of the citizens' comments. There were several. One is the trees in the water, and I can verify, George and I were out last Thursday. We took a look at this site. We checked the majority of the silt fence, which was functional. The area that had the stakes that had been kind of flopped over a little bit, it appeared to be still functional, but it started to rain when shortly after we got there, so we ended up going up the hill. But certainly we can go out, Charlie, and take a look at that. I have some questions about how and what the timing is for getting those trees and branches out of the water. That would have to be in the scheduling. Whether or not you can't do it now. If you try to do it now, you'll destroy the silt fence. It may be at the time that they do, if they get approval for the revetment, at the time they start constructing the revetment, that's when they pull all the tree stumps and branches out that have been left in the water. Those trees, they're sticking up out of the water, pieces of them. So I have no idea how much is actually submerged in the water, but it clearly is more than just a couple of twigs.
Marla, we can put that on as a requirement, stipulation on the application.
Yes, but I would like to have get all my questions to Mr. Bear and his engineer, and perhaps they can include that in their sequence. It could be a special condition put on of any permit that's issued as to the timing of when those trees, branches, and trunks, or whatever's in there has to come out. That could be a condition so that it's timed correctly.
Okay, so this
Roach here, I have a question. Has DOT been notified at all because there is some erosion from the recent rains at the top of the hill? Rocks are more obvious now because silt is washed away. Is there any immediate plan for erosion control so that we're not losing hillsides and maybe possibly undermining Route 193?
Marla Butt speaking. I contacted the Public Works Director, Rich Benoit, and he was going to touch base with DOT. He wasn't sure who it was in DOT that had originally talked to Mr. Bear about the acceptability of the conditions, or to Mr. Wall. I'm not sure who it was that spoke to DOT, because Mr. Wall. Perhaps Mr. Bear can explain his communications with DOT.
is Mr. Bear present?
He was earlier.
Well, he doesn't appear to be. If you're there, check your mic. I'll have to expand out. Perhaps he's no longer with us.
Hello.
Ah,
Yes, I'm with you.
there he is, Mr. Bear. Thank you,
What could I answer for you?
Marla.
What communications have you had with the Department of Transportation regarding the slope that leads away from Route 193?
My understanding was that the contractor, Pat Wall, spoke to the gentleman from DOT and they were going to give him permits and he had no problem with what was going on.
Do you know
And
the
that
name
was-
of the individual that he
No, I'm
spoke with at
1,200 miles away from
DOT?
Connecticut. So I don't have my
So what I
information.
can, this is to respond to Barbara's request. Barbara, I'll touch base with DOT myself, District 2. That's who handles this, and figure out who actually is the individual. I don't think it's the drainage engineer. It's probably, but I'll talk to him and he'll direct me to the right person. And we'll ask them to take a look at the slope because it's
Okay.
technically under their jurisdiction. It's outside of the upland review area where it gets close to the road. So technically the Wetlands Commission has no jurisdiction, but DOT probably does.
Right. And just as a concern that the hillside is washing down.
Yes, it's my understanding that they're trying to get the permits right now. And the stuff that's in the lake, he can't fish it out because he was told not to do any more work at the site. So it's hard to get branches out of the lake if you tell somebody not to do any work.
But I thought those branches were supposed to come out since the last meeting.
Yeah, we need to mute the background there.
And he will destroy part of the silt fence, I guess, if he goes and digs stuff out now. But he'll be glad to clean out this, whatever's in the lake. It's not a problem.
Marla Butt speaking. I've also received an email from Mr. Harger, your neighbor to the south, concerned about trees that have been left behind on your property that he's concerned, and this would be in the upland review area, about wind throw. Now that all the trees have been cut around it, that they may be more susceptible to being blown over. And he wanted to know whether or not there was any plans to remove the trees that are located between your clearing area and his lot line. Because he's concerned that those trees will not remain stable and could blow over onto his house or property.
Yes, we planned on removing those trees, but you told the contractor to stop working. So we can't cut the trees unless you let them work.
That's correct.
So there's your answer.
Okay. So in your application, would you be including the cutting of the trees between the two property boundaries?
If that's what you need, yes.
All right. So George, Charlie, when we go out into the field, we'll try to touch base with Mr. Harger to find out exactly which trees he's referring to, and see if we can find a way to address the concern so that all parties are satisfied.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion by commissioners on this application? Any other comments by the applicant or the engineer?
No, I have no other. We're trying to work with the town of Thompson. It just seems like everything we try to do, you put a roadblock. But it's okay.
Well, hopefully we can work through this. Thank you for your
If
understanding.
if I may, I'd like to speak to that because I've been looking at this property since the early days. When work was being done without permits, when work was being done in direct confrontation to the statement of what was handed to the contractor, and I think that it's incorrect what Mr. Bear has just said.
What did I say that's incorrect, sir?
You're saying that we're throwing roadblocks in your way, and I'm saying
No,
that you're doing work without even getting any studies done on it. For example, now you want to put in a 5-bedroom house. That's not what your original application was. But even at that, the stone wall that's going in at the bottom, the things that are coming in now would not have come in if we did not demand a study. And you and your contractor were all hot for leather, ready to run and go. And it was causing problems for the lake, for the other property owners, for the environment, and we were taking action to work as quickly as possible to resolve your questions. And for you to say that we were throwing roadblocks in your path is incorrect.
No, I said it seems like you're throwing roadblocks in my path. We're
And
trying
I'm
to do everything. We're trying to do
make you
everything
be
that
aware
we're
of the
supposed to
fact
do.
that I'm trying to make you be aware that as I'm retired, I'm doing this for free. But we're putting a lot of work into preserving the environment of the town of Thompson, which apparently you want to move to.
Yes, I'm trying to preserve the town of Thompson and the lake too. That's why I'm putting not a vertical wall block next to it. I'm trying to put it nice to make it nice environmental, because that's what was
Yeah, I
suggested by
can
the engineer.
appreciate
I'm
that.
trying to
I
do
can
things the proper
appreciate
way. It just seems very frustrating to me, that's all.
Well, that's the way life goes sometimes.
Exactly.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Bear. I can appreciate that there's a lot at risk here, and I think everyone's trying to do the right thing, so we're moving
And it's not a
forward.
5-bedroom house, actually. It's a 4-bedroom house, but because there's extra room potential over the garage, you consider it 5 bedrooms.
Oh. Right. Thank you. If there's nothing else, we can move on to the next item. All right. Thank you. Item is number 2, WAA 20023, Thomas Murray, 0 Sandam Road, Assessors Map 114, Block 24, Lot 60B. Discharge of footing drain associated with the construction of a new single-family home stamped received on 6/18/2020, under review pending receipt of additional information. So, Ms. Butts, what do we have here?
The application that has come in, you have the drawings. If you share the screen,
I'm doing
you'll
that
be
now.
able to see it.
Okay, give me a second here. Give it a moment to load depending on the speed you're downloading at, but I've got the entire layout, I believe, here.
Got it.
Okay.
I'll expand out the.
So this application, along with the next one, both by Thomas Murray, 0 Sandam Road, they are located on the south side of Sandam Road. It's the property just to the west of the new crossing for Sandam Road that was put in last year, the culvert crossing. There are 2 lots that are existing. All the work appears to be in the upland review area. Not all of it, but a good portion of it is in the upland review area. And for both of these properties, and they do not have NDDH's approval yet. So I've indicated that I can't proceed until I see NDDH's approval, and then I will also need to review the application for any deficiencies. But a very quick cursory look at it looked like that they would be okay, because they're quite a distance away from the wetlands. And these are the wetlands that are frequently occupied by beavers. So the beavers get in there and change the water height, not only affecting the swamp that it's that to the south of Sandam Road, but also Little Pond. But it doesn't appear as though either of these lots, this one and the application following it, would have any effect on the beavers themselves, although some of the trees on the lot might get eaten by the beavers. So George, if you can scroll down to the next one, these are just under review. If you look at Murray 24.
Hold on here.
That's the lot that's closest.
Is this the right video graphic?
That's the correct graphic for 23.
Right. Oh, you want to move to the next? Oh, I see the dual. Okay, I got it. Move it.
Yep. That's 23.
24. Here we go. Yeah.
24 is coming up.
Here it is.
There's a site plan for that also.
Okay,
And
Tony,
you can see, yep. You can see the head wall for the stormwater drainage system that comes off of Stan Dam Road. You can easily see that from the street. This house will be on the hillside to the west of the stream crossing for the drainage outfall for a little pond and the swamp that's there also. So both of these houses are fairly high and some distance away from the wetlands edge. The septic systems are both in the front of the house and the wells are in the back. The only thing that seems to have any issue, could potentially at all, if any, is the footing drains, and typically footing drains don't have enough volume of water that would cause a problem. Okay?
so is there any discussion needed here to,
No.
none?
I'm just waiting on the NDDH's approvals of the septic designs.
Okay, Commissioners,
That is the
comments?
Northeast District.
So that was 23. I didn't read out 24, but it's the same.
Screen that you have on now is 24.
Right. It's 23. Everything's the same, but for C. Lot 60C, the 60B and 60C.
Correct.
All right. All right. No other issues. We can move on to number 4. And number 4 is WAA 20025 Madison Avenue Investments LLC, 0 Madison Avenue, Assessors Map 103, Block 31, Lot 6H, Subdivision Lot 8. Construct and discharge footing drain in 100-foot upland review area for a new single-family home, stamped received on 7/6/2020, which is under review. Does this it here? This
Marla,
yeah.
Marla Butt speaking. When this agenda was published, that was on Thursday. It was under review. On Friday, July 10th, I issued the wetlands agent approval for this application. The only activity is the footing drain that is going to be discharging in the upland review area. Going to be constructed, part of it's going to be constructed in the upland review area and discharged. That's that little line that's along the northern property boundary.
Up here?
This footing drain outlet. Nope. Footing
Wetlands are
drain
here.
is, go to the left. That's the wetlands line.
Okay.
Footing to the north. There you go.
All
Go
right.
up a little bit with your cursor.
There it is.
Keep
Okay.
going.
Sorry.
Keep
There it
going.
is.
Right
Footing
there.
drain. I found it. Yeah.
That's the footing drain outlet. So it's the upland review area is a long dashed line, and it goes just past the word outlet, between the word outlet and the number 445.
Oh, there it is. There.
Not that one.
No,
the
the
other
other
one.
This one here.
Crosses over it. Nope.
This one here.
Nope. Nope.
This one here.
Go to that one.
Okay.
That one. That's the
We have a lot
upland
of
review
we have a
area.
lot of lines to choose from here. Okay, got it.
You have to look at the legend.
I know it.
So
Okay.
the only thing is a small distance of footing drain in the upland review area, and it discharges back from the wetlands. That's it.
Right. Okay.
So that's been approved, and the legal notice will be published next Friday, and the appeal period will be for 15 days after that.
Any comments by commissioners or questions of our agent on this matter? All right. No comments or questions. This is on the hillside, right? Marla, we looked at this, didn't we? Yeah. This was under
Yes, we did.
construction. It's on the hillside. It just
Yes, we
barely
did.
touches into the back edge here. All right. Were there any applications received after agenda was published?
Yes, one.
Is that here?
And it's because it was after it's not in the, I
not
don't
here.
believe it's in the documents because I got it on July 10th, which was yesterday. See if it's in here. I don't know if I put it in. I think
This
I
isn't
did.
it.
There
Is
it
this
is. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So if anybody is familiar with on Route 171, there was the Villager Restaurant, the shopping plaza there, where the Strand hairdressing firm was. And there's a rock shop in there. That has been purchased by Woodstock Building Associates, and they are going to use it as their showroom. Their showroom currently is on Prospect Street in Woodstock, and they're moving their showroom to this location. So they are in the process of doing improvements to the building, and this application is to include improvements to the parking lot in the back, as well as do septic work and get an access road for that septic work. And it only just came in yesterday, so I really haven't had a chance to review it. It is located at 22 Woodstock Road in Thompson. It's a small piece of Thompson that's on Route 171. It's map 20, assessor's map 29, block 104, lot 23. And the descriptive activity is septic system repair and improvements to back parking lot. And it's being proposed by WBA Real Estate, LLC of 78 Prospect Street in Woodstock. And I believe they have provided, they've got the soil scientist's report attached to the application. I have received notifications that they have notified the towns of, because it's within 500 feet of the town of Woodstock, as well as 500 feet of Putnam. They have sent letters to both wetlands agencies notifying them of the pending application as required by statute. This is being done by Janet Blanchette of J&D Engineering. She is not available this week. It was only being received at this point in time, but it's for a wetlands agent approval. So I haven't even had a chance to look at it to see whether or not it should be something that should be coming through as an individual permit, or is it just a wetlands agent approval? It appears to be just a wetlands agent approval, but I haven't had a chance to look at the drawings carefully.
I had a question for you, Marla. Would there be a business that was in there that we would call? Is that right on the? I'm trying to remember where this is. Is that where was there a piano music store there, or
no?
Hardware
The piano
store?
music store is Mackey's. The piano music store is Mackey's. The plant and an animal supply store. This is located immediately towards Putnam on the same side of the road as Mackey's. It had the Villager restaurant in it. It had a liquor store that Scott Parker moved down to another home. And it has a rock shop in it now, and it had the Strand, a hairdressing salon.
Was there a pharmacy there at one time?
Not that I'm aware of,
No?
not in the 10 years I've been in the area.
Right. I'll have to take a look on the map. All right, commissioners, any questions or additional questions for our wetlands agent? Okay, and that was the only application received after the agenda was published?
That's correct.
All right, moving on then to permit extensions and changes, none are listed. So F, or rather item G, is violations and pending enforcement actions. We have a cease and restore order, violation 20003, Scott Josie, 637 East Thompson Road, Assessor's Map 154, Block 5, Lot 14. Filling of wetlands and work within 100-foot upland review area issued on 3/5/2020. Hearing and decision 3/10/2020. Soil scientist report submitted 5/10/2020. Approved, and work to be completed by 9/15/2020. Try to move down to that. Which item? Do we have a photo of this?
There'll be photos.
There's
You
your
have to
photo.
move
There's your
farther
wetland.
down.
This is the wetland, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. So In response to seeing this activity, I'd received a couple of calls from people in the neighborhood and saying that there was work going on in wetlands, that Mr. Josie was digging out wetlands and he was pumping the wetlands down. So I took a ride out, and then I notified, and I seemed to confirm that there had been a pump there and there was a hose that was nearby that looked like it had been used. It looked like there had been excavation in the wetland and spoils sidecasted. So I sent on July 9th, Mr. Josie an email saying that that a recent inspection of his property revealed that he had excavated a portion of the wetlands marsh north of the restoration area that was cited in the cease and desist order. And additionally, he had sidecast the excavated materials into the wetlands marsh. If you look at the photograph that's on the screen, that twin tree that you see there, that's in wetlands, and the material that's sitting on top of it is organic soils, which appear to have come from the standing water area that's located to the left, to the right of the photograph. So this work was not identified in the remediation plan presented by soil scientist Roger Gibson as part of the proceeding for the cease and restore order. Immediately, I asked him to immediately cease any further work in wetlands marsh and within 48 hours provide me with an explanation as to why this work was being done, and that failure to respond would result in my issuance of a cease and desist order. Mr. Josie did respond back, and what he called me immediately, and he also sent me an email. He said that what he was, and I believe Mr. Josie is here today. Is he here still? No, he's not.
Can we,
Who do we have here for the participants? Is Mr. Josie here?
trying to
No,
look to see.
Okay. I don't know who Joe is.
Well, if he's there, we can't hear him.
Yeah. Okay. So, what he said to me is, he said, I'm doing what was supposed to have been done according to the remediation plan. And I said to him, no, you weren't supposed to be excavating the wetlands and side casting the spoils. So having sent him these emails, I had also sent a copy by copy to his consultant, Roger Gibson. And I told on the 13th, I sent Mr. Josie an email that said I was notified by the email service that the email that I sent to him on July 9th didn't make it, so I was sending it again. And this is on tomorrow night's wetlands meeting, Zoom meeting, and you are invited to attend and explain what you're doing. Please go to, and it says the URL for the agenda, to see the information on linking into the Zoom meeting and the documents that have been sent to the Inland Wetlands Commissioners. I sent a copy of this to Roger Gibson, his consultant, along with the photographs that you're seeing here now. And Mr. Gibson replied, "Dear Mrs. Butts, I had no knowledge of additional work being done in the approved restoration area. I guess Mr. Josie decided to complete the project without my further assistance since plan approval. I expected a call from him when the water levels were lower. He was under no obligation to continue my services." So I was hoping Mr. Josie would attend this meeting and explain to the commission members what exactly he was doing. What it appeared to me is that he had dug a hole in the wetlands in an attempt to drain it, used a pump to try to drop the water table down. Whether or not he was doing that to try to facilitate the removal for the area where he was going to have the ford or the stone causeway, I can't tell, because it looked more like he was putting in potentially digging a ditch to put in a culvert, which was not part of what the remediation plan was. He was supposed to drop the grade of the access way and drop it down to remove the imported material, and then bring in pervious material, stone, to allow the water to flow through like you see on that, what George, I think, has drawn as the area where it would have flown through.
Right.
So
Channel.
this is going to need further discussion and an investigation. I think he's going to have to get Mr. Gibson back in here to provide, and I don't think when you did your decision on the remediation plan that you required the soil scientist to verify that the work had been done in accordance with his plan. So at this juncture, I have to think about what the best approach of it is. Right now, there is spill in wetlands that I do not believe Mr. Gibson had identified as an activity that would occur as part of the remediation. And that's the filling of wetlands with organic soils dredged from the wetlands.
And this is what
as
you're
you see
referring
in the
to?
photographs.
This section, this area here
That's
is the
correct.
wetlands.
Yes, that's correct.
All this area in here.
Yep.
And this is the road here that was, we saw in our earlier assessment.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'll have to work on this and figure out exactly how it needs to be addressed based upon the terminology that's in the in Mr. Gibson's remediation report and how the order was written. It may be that if it can't come to an agreement with Mr. Josie, that might have to issue another order to remove the, depending on how you feel about it. But first I have to contact Mr. Gibson and see if I can get any feedback from him based upon the photographs that he sees, whether or not this was part of his restoration plan. I don't believe it was.
Thank you, Marla. Commissioners, any comments, observations you'd like to add? I will say that Mr.
Charlie Obert here.
Go ahead, Charlie.
The letter that was just read mentioned the fact that
You're not coming in very well. Yeah, perhaps you want to check your strength on your internet connection, Charlie.
Has decided he's going to move forward with.
Did we lose Charlie? You still there? Well, for the record, we'll note that Commissioner Obert's had some technical difficulties. We hope to have him join us shortly, although I see he's no longer listed on my attendee list. I don't see him. Marla, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. It's quiet. Well, I think rather than hold up the meeting, we do have enough. We have a quorum still.
Correct. Correct.
Hopefully, Commissioner Obert will be able to join us. If he can hear us, perhaps he can dial in with his telephone or something, if possible. Any further action, any further comment, or anything we have to do on this particular cease and restore order?
Not at this time. I need to conduct some more investigation before a course of action can be determined.
Okay. So let's move on to the next violation. Violation is 20013. Adrienne Martin and Joseph Fagan, 208 Linehouse Road, Assessor's Map 36, Block 70, Lot 4. Clear cutting of trees and earth moving work in 100-foot upland review area. Notice of violation issued on 5/14/2020 to remove the slash, pull back the soil along the eastern property boundary to a grade no steeper than 3 to 1, 3 feet horizontally and 1 foot vertically. by 6/1/2020, and immediately following the completion of this work, seed and mulch all disturbed soils.
Marla Butt speaking. Yesterday, I stopped at the site. I spoke with Mr. Fagan. Mr. Fagan indicated that he was having financial difficulties to be able to hire a machine to come in and do the grading work. He requested that he be given 90 days extension. And the area that had been disturbed and raw was now growing with grass. He had done no more filling work or moving of material along the wetlands edge. That has remained static. Some of the trees that he had cut, some of that wood has been removed. Some of it's still there. He's finding homes for that. These were very large pine trees that he had removed from his backyard. And I told him that I had no problem granting a 90-day extension to October 1, because if he gets his finances figured out and gets his, he explained what his finance problems was, and I'm not going to talk about it online here in the meeting, but he did indicate a willingness to comply, and he said that he could try to make sure that he gets it done by October 1st. So I'm going to send him, if you have no objection, a letter indicating him that he needs to get his work completed by October 1, so that he'll still be within the seeding dates for getting the whatever disturbed soils whatever soils he disturbs during his grading work will be able to be done during the normal seeding season.
Thank you for that.
If you have no objections.
Commissioners, questions or comments? I don't hear any. I guess I do have a question regarding this though. Based on what you're recommending, will it have any further impact or negative impact on the wetlands, Marla?
No, he had a stone wall that was I believe was the border of his property, and a small amount of the woody debris that he was pushing towards his property line went over the stone wall. It wasn't soil, it was, limbs and branches, and there could have been some soil underneath the limbs and branches, but he agreed that he would pull it back and stabilize it. So this is not a big violation. Shouldn't have an adverse effect on the wetlands if it goes for 90 more days.
Okay, so it's not irreparable. It's just don't continue doing it.
Correct. And he has not done any additional work in wetlands. And he has not done really any additional grading work in the upland review area. In fact, it's mostly stable with grass now.
Commissioner Obert, are you with us now? We can see you. At least I can see you. We just can't hear you.
Can't hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, I hope you weren't waiting for me all that time.
Sorry, we had to move on, so.
That's fine, that's fine. The signal dropped and I couldn't get it back.
Hey, no worries. All right, but we did, so I think we're set for this item we just spoke about regarding Linehouse Road. And this is an extension essentially from what you've written up. And no, we don't anticipate any negative impact on the environment. The incursion was not too terribly egregious. So Marla, do you require a vote or just our consent? What do you need for us? I
don't need a vote. It's just an ascension that it's all right to give him 90 more days, because it was my notice of violation, not an order by the commission.
Right. So I don't believe, does anyone have an objection, I guess, is the question for the commissioners. For, again, this is violation 20013, Adrienne Martin and Joseph Fagan regarding clear cutting of trees and earthwork within 100-foot upland review area. All right. I hear none, so let's proceed. When you continue with your recommended action, and let's move on to the next violation. It's violation 20018, Mark Bear, 1227 Thompson Road, Assessors Map 116, Block 24, Lot 10, clear cutting trees and earth moving work in 100-foot upland review area for Little Pond. Notice of violation issued on 5/27/2020 to cease tree cutting and earth moving work, install ENS controls, and by 6/3/2020 provide written explanation for work done and schedule for submitting application. In bracket C, application WAA 20022 above.
Marla Butt speaking. So this notice of violation has been addressed by the submission of application IWA 20022. Now that you've converted it to an individual permit application.
Okay. So we can move on.
I'd like to make a comment if I could, or ask a question. Mr. Bear had mentioned that because of the silt fencing, that the tree debris could not be removed from the pond. So Marla, maybe you could just verify for me, at the June 9th meeting, was the silt fencing up? I believe it wasn't. And at that meeting, Mr. Bear and his contractor both agreed that the tree debris would be removed from the pond, which still hasn't happened. So if the silt fencing wasn't up at the June 9th meeting, that should nullify the reason that they could not take the debris from the pond. So do we know when the fencing went up? I don't believe it was up on June 9th at the meeting.
Actually, the silt
I do
fencing
not have
was up
the
because
violation file.
Sorry, Mr. Bear.
Actually, the silt fencing was up because one of your commissioners made a comment that there was no drainage going into the water and the silt fence appeared to be functioning well.
Yeah. Perhaps we could consult the
on your meeting.
Okay, I made the comment that the drainage wasn't going into the pond. I just need verification. I don't recall if the silt fencing was up.
Yeah, I think it was, ma'am. And then I think somebody said they wanted it corrected, and he went and corrected it and put more, whatever you do to make it more sturdy.
Yes.
Marla Butt speaking.
Charlie,
from the minutes.
Okay. Commissioner Albert. Yes.
I just wanted to reinforce that the silt fence was in place prior to our last meeting, and additional work had been done to secure the toe of the fence in along the earth line at the water's edge. So already that had been done. I don't remember the details or specifics about removal of the stump or other pieces of wood, but I do remember that work had been done to mitigate any more silt or soil from entering into the water. If they put the wood in there, and apparently they did, they need to remove it as part of the ongoing process. They can't put the rocks in on top of it either. So they have to remove the wood and put in their riparian wall, or whatever we call that. It begins with an R. Revetment. That's a military fort. We want to make sure that the soil is correct and that the bank is anchored in correctly. And yeah, I do remember that the fence was there. I don't remember the detail about removing the wood. So
okay. I just wanted to verify that. That's
all. Marla Butt speaking. The inland wetlands minutes that you approved for June 9th on page 5 of 7. The last two lines say, M. Butts states there's also some tree debris in the water and Mr. Wall needs to go out into the water to remove the debris. Mr. Wall states that he will take care of the branches in the water. On hold pending receipt of the application, no further action at this time. And that was the notes on violation 20018. And then on on violation 20019, this was, it states in the minutes, this was spoken about at the same time as violation 20018. Mr. Wall will remove the tree debris in the water and will put up some stakes to better support the silt fencing that is falling down. And then it's on hold pending receipt of the application, no further action at this time. And so that's what is stated. So Mr. Wall has not removed the wood, even though he said he would, but he didn't say when he was going to remove the wood. So my suggestion at this point in time, based upon where it is in the water, it's not easily reached by just, somebody reaching out with their, with their hands and trying to pull it in. They would take a machine to take it out, or you'd have to get a boat to go out there and try to lift it up and cut it. I don't think that's going to be real practical. So at this point in time, I think the trees, until this application process is completed, I don't see how until we get that, some kind of idea of what the scheduling is of everything, to remove the trees now might cause more damage than leaving them there for the time being. They're close to the shoreline. They probably extend out maybe 25 feet at the most, from what I saw sticking up out of the water, because there were little sticks sticking up out of the water, and I'm assuming they're connected to larger branches that are sunk under the water.
So
So,
Marla, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'm done.
I've actually pulled up the graphics from the last meeting. I paused because I was going to put them up so that we could look at this. However, is it, the question I have is from a propriety standpoint, is it appropriate to bring it up that was already been submitted to the commission? Is there any reason we can't look at that silt preventer and the water now? I've got the photos that we had.
You still could.
Let me just pull it up because we're kind of remembering, but this is what we had in place then. So let me just do that. Just give me a moment here. And here it is.
These were from the Zoom meeting documents of last month?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have, here's a letter. This is the 2019 violation. I believe I've got the right location. Correct? Let me know if I'm not.
That's correct. You're correct.
All right. I'm just going to expand these out some more and move it over. So here's one of them. Here's the other. I don't know if it's the third one. Okay. And Marla, you and I looked at this site, I believe.
Yes. And we found no evidence of sediment. I found no evidence of sediment reaching through the fence and getting into the water. But during a heavy rainstorm, you might expect there to be some turbidity that could get through the silt fence, but the bed load, the heavier materials, should not go through the fence, and there was no evidence that any had. Did not walk all the way down towards Mr. Harger's property, but it looked like the silt fence there was still functional. But if Charlie and I are going to be going out next Monday, we'll check that area out and make sure it's patent.
I believe there's another one of it as well. Or am I confusing it with the other app? Is this the same site right here?
My computer's slow, so I'm not sure if I'm looking at the same. Yes,
the blue water and the blue
Mr.
truck.
Harger's wall is. Nope. I
No?
don't see that picture yet. Nope, not on my screen. I'm seeing the silt fence near Mr. Harger's property.
Yeah.
This is
just
Barb
showed up
Road.
now.
That is the property.
Is that the one?
That is the picture of the property, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Roach. Okay, so I've got the water view here. It gives you a distance shot, and the others were the close-ups with the fencing. All right.
If I may make a comment, Mr. Harger's property is to the left of this photograph, And the
Over here.
trees I suspect that he's speaking to are the trees that you could see between the blue truck and the house. There's some tall pine trees.
These trees up
Those
here?
are the ones that he's
Up here?
referring to that he's concerned about. No,
No, these down here?
look at to the house on the left-hand side, there, that, correct.
Okay. So you're talking about these trees off to the, that doesn't work. Let me get my drawing skills better. So these trees over here?
Correct.
All right.
And the tree stumps, or the tree branches that are in the water are to the left of the blue truck. To the right of the blue truck, excuse me, to the right of the blue truck.
Over here.
In
The
that
entire
area
property.
there.
I'm sorry?
Coach, the entire property line has branches in the water.
Okay. So we go back to the other photos. I think we're going to lose some people, but it's down along that. Let me try to find my drawing features. Right, just not far in. They aren't very large. At least when we looked at them last week, they seem to be fairly, I don't know, 2-inch diameter, maybe more.
The problem is, George, is the larger branches would be sunk to the bottom, and what you're
Oh.
seeing is the smaller branches that are attached to the larger branches sticking up.
So they're right along the edge here, somewhere.
Mhm.
All right. Anyway, just to put it in perspective, because it's somewhat abstract. It's quite a steep grade. Okay. So next step, what's the recommended course of action here? We're going to.
My advice is at this point in time, because I don't know what the size of the trunks are in the water, attempting to remove them at this point in time and requiring them to be removed may be problematic. To make things more complicated, where that blue truck is in that photograph is now a long pile of large stones, boulders. And I believe those were the stones that they were going to use for the revetment. I don't know what happened.
I just moved it. Sorry, I went back to the trying to find some of the.
Oh, that's okay.
I'll give you the blue truck. These weren't compressed is the problem. These were large. This is a 30 megabyte document, so that's why it takes a while to download. Today we had the.
So you, in front of the truck, you can see the old fireplace to the cottage, just in front of the cab of the truck. And there are stones that run from there all the way almost to Mr. Harger's property, very large stones. And those stones were put in after the notice of violation was handed to Mr. Wall. So he continued to do work even after the notice of violation was issued. That's
right in
the
this area
fireplace.
Here. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
These are the stones.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't see the stones here. The stones were brought in after this photograph was taken. In fact, this truck was probably bringing stones in to the site.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next steps. What's the recommendation? And
my advice would be at this juncture is to do what you had said you were going to do on the application. I don't think the sticks in the water at this point require immediate removal. I think they ultimately need to be removed, but until you determine what you're going to do with the application, I would hold off on taking any action to come in to try to remove those sticks at this point in time. I think should there be an approval for the revetment, that they would have to be removed before the revetment was built. I mean, you can require him to try to remove it now, and then if he damages the silt fence, to reinstall the silt fence. That is an option.
This is Barbara Roach.
Would
That
you
would be
like
my
me-
recommendation.
Okay.
My recommendation would be to remove the debris. If the silt fence gets damaged, put it back up.
Other comments, Commissioner Obert?
Yeah, I'm thinking that Barbara's right on that, that the wood should come out, and he probably wants to use his heavy shovel, his scoop, and lift it all out and put it in the back of the truck. So let him do it, and if he damages the silt fence, he has to fix it. You know, get him out of there so that it's ready for him to put the rocks in.
All right.
Unfortunately, we can't wait for the water level to go down over the winter. So, you know, the project needs to be done. So if the guy has to get them out, he's got to clean up what should not have been there. He's got to clean up his mess. And it will cause some mud and some stirring up of silt once. And then the big rocks going on top of it once. And then it settles down again.
Well, I think you make
I
a
don't
good.
like.
Go ahead.
I don't like it.
So the amount of tree branches in the water wasn't that extensive, if I'm not mistaken. There was some in there, but it wasn't like the full distance of the waterfront.
I bet
Right?
you he fills out the truck.
Yeah. All right.
I bet you he does.
So how would we frame this request? Do we have to obtain the consent of the?
Well, the property owner is still listening. Somebody here sounds correct for Freedom of Information Act, but he's already been notified, and we've already said that we'd like to get the wood out before the rock goes in, and we'd like the project to move forward. We really would. We're not trying to create obstruction for him. So if his contractor goes down there and lifts all the wood out and puts it on a truck and takes it away and puts the rock down, he doesn't even have to take it away. He can put the rock down before he even takes the truck away. But he can clean it up and fix the silt fence if he needs to, and move the project forward.
Well, wait a minute. This is Commissioner Chapin. Isn't putting the rocks down related to something that was still under discussion? I mean, I don't think 1 and 2 go together. Right now, we should be talking about whether or not we're going to request the wood to come out of the water.
We've already discussed that and said that we want wood out of the water before the rocks are put in. We've already discussed that about half an hour ago, I guess.
Right, but I don't believe we've said put the rocks in, correct?
Well, that's what the plan calls for, and the plan has been engineered by a civil engineer. So the plan
Charlie,
seems to meet the
Plan
requirements.
is not approved.
Thank you.
Well, the plan was put in, okay, it was put in as an application.
Where do we stand? I guess Commissioner Ober, you're coming in a bit broken too. Go ahead, Marla.
So what I'll do is I'll send a letter to Mr. Wall with a copy to Mr. Bear, requiring him to remove the wood from the water before any approval is going to be issued. He has to have that removed. Could give him 30 days to do that. That will bring you to your next meeting. And then you can determine whether or not he complied or not. How that affects the application, I'm not sure at this point in time. But I do think you can make a request, since Mr. Wall did indicate that he would take the wood out of the water. He just didn't say when. So I can draft a letter that tells him he needs to get the wood out of the water within the next 30 days.
That's
and should he
acceptable
damage
to
the
me.
silt? Mr. Bear, how do you feel about this?
It's fine with me. I thought he was gonna have the wood out of the water.
So Charlie and I will go out on Monday and we'll take some photographs and I will forward them to Mr. Bear and then I will draft the letter to Mr. Wall.
Right. There's, it seems like a sound plan. Commissioner Chapin, how do you,
No, I'm fine. I just thought we were putting two steps together. You know, one is to get removal of the wood and the other one is regarding the application. And I think that's been clarified.
okay. All right then. If there's no objections, let's proceed on that basis. Do we need a, really a vote? You're just going to proceed that way, Marla, right?
That's correct. I don't need a vote to do that.
Great.
Do you want him to do anything with the trees between the properties?
Oh, that's up to
No.
him, liability.
No, not yet. Not yet, because I
Okay,
have to talk to Mr. Harger and meet with him and find out what his concerns are, what trees he's specifically referring to. Right now, I'm only guessing.
well, I had suggested to Mr. Harvard that all these trees be removed in the first place, and he wanted them left for a shade garden. And then when all the other trees were cut down, then he had an arborist come out and decide, now we want some removed. So I'm
Oh.
happy to remove them, it's not a problem.
Just can't do it until you have approvals.
Okay, I just want to make sure what you want done.
Yeah.
Well, point of clarification, he can go in with a chainsaw and cut it down and not rip out the stump anytime.
Exactly.
Anytime,
Oh, okay.
but he can't disturb the soil near the water without having it justified and approved.
Okay,
Marla Butt speaking. Charlie, until we go out and talk to Mr. Harger and I get an idea as to exactly what trees he's referring to, I don't want Mr. Bear or Mr. Wall to do any tree cutting at this point in time until we get that clarified.
I agree. Mr. Bear, I think that you should listen to Marla on that. She knows much more than I do.
that's fine. I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that's all.
Yeah. I don't think everyone wants to
Yep.
address the issue. Just like it's when and how exactly. I think is so it's
Okay.
better to
Yeah.
get the facts first because putting trees back in place is kind of tough, and
Yep.
expensive. All right.
Especially that big.
Yeah, those are big. Those are 150-foot
big,
trees. All right. Thank you. So moving on then, that addresses the outstanding violations and pending enforcement actions. Thank you. Moving on to H, other business, request for participation to revise plan of conservation and development. And you sent a link to us. Any comment on that item?
George,
I
can you
guess-
stop sharing the
I'm
former
sorry. Yeah,
document?
I'll get rid of it.
Okay.
Thank you. Share too much here. All right. So we're on to other business, which is A. Is there any necessary comment on item A?
Is there anyone interested in participating in the plan of conservation and development? That's all she wants to know. So you should independently contact her if there is someone who is interested in participating in that. If you have questions about how it was done in the past, Carolyn Wurge is very familiar with that, and she can answer any questions about how it was done in the past.
I know I raised my questions already directly, so. So if you haven't thoroughly looked at those, commissioners, you might want to revisit them and proceed accordingly. Thank you. Moving on then, if there's no other comments on that, then we move on to B, review of the approved IWC fiscal year 2021 budget. And I think we have that exhibit here. Let me just get rid of this old thing. Expenditures. I can put this up if you'd like. Maybe a good time for that. There it is. Should be able to see the Inland Wetlands Commission budget.
Marla Butt speaking. That's the first page, which tells what the salaries are. And the second page has all the details. There really was no change from last year at all. And I do not have an end of year report for Diane to let you know what the expenditures were, because they haven't yet closed all the books, because there's some outstanding purchase orders that are out. And so there is no report for the treasurer. But this is, I wanted you to be aware of what the budget actually was. That's been approved.
Okay. Well, any questions, commissioners, comments on the budget?
Well, basically, we didn't ask for any increase. I mean, realistically.
Well, I think that we had hoped to get some additional tools, but you know, that didn't find its way to the budget, which, you know, is always next year. Perhaps we can have.
You sound like a Red Sox fan.
Well, all right. Okay, then, if there's no questions, I think most of us probably looked at this already once in the past. Okay, I'll move on then. We have reports, wetland items.
Marla Butt speaking. I will be reading you my report because it wasn't ready to put on the Zoom documents. So typically I do updates. First update is the status of the court appeal on WAA 15029 River Junction Estates. That's the Star Road case. It's the same as last month. According to the Judicial Branch website, the appellate court heard arguments on March 3rd of this year, and no decision has been rendered yet, so stay tuned. Updating you on the MS4 annual report and follow-up actions. While I've made little progress on the annual report. It's been a very busy couple of weeks lately. Fiscal year 1920 funds were encumbered and contracts initiated to continue the stormwater drainage system mapping, outfall screening, and discharge sampling. Regarding the pre-1990 file destruction plan, I've made absolutely no progress on that. For inspections and follow-up actions, complaint 20-01, 497 Quatictown Farm Road. I received an email from property owner Jenna Windsor stating that she had superior paving. If you recall, this was on Quatictown Farm Road where a small area fill had been placed next to a driveway to create not a leak off, but a area for them to park their vehicles when the snow was too deep for them to get up their driveway. She had superior paving remove as much material as would fit into a dump truck at a cost of $1,000, she said. Further, she had no further plans to create a pull-off for her driveway until she had the funds to pave the driveway. Since Public Works is expected to plan a road repair in this area in the near future to address road stabilization and drainage issues, which will include the installation of a cross culvert under this driveway, no further action is planned on this complaint. Complaint 20-05, it was a report of dumping of pony manure in the wetlands off of Hiawatha Drive. Hiawatha Drive is on the west side of Quatic Reservoir. On June 29th, I conducted a drive-by inspection of the property, which is located on the north side of Hiawatha Drive, with Commissioner Ober. There appeared to be several locations where dumping of brush and miscellaneous debris into and along the edge of the swamp that drains into Quatic Reservoir had occurred. I did not see horse manure there, but I didn't get out of the car. Subsequent to the inspection, I found out that this property is likely owned by the town of Thompson. The town of Thompson owns about 5 lots on the north side of Hiawatha Drive. I have contacted Carolyn Wurge to take a look at the property and advise if the removal of the dump materials is warranted. I've also spoken to the Public Works Director, Rich Benoit, about blocking the entrance to the town's properties to prevent any further dumping. I'll give you a status update at the next in the Wetlands Commission meeting on what actions may be warranted at this site. Complaint 20-08, report of fill in the upland review area and possible wetlands at 480 Quatictown Farm Road. During a visit to Rich DeRocher's property with Commissioner Ober on June 9th, 2020, Richard DeRocher's complained that filling of wetlands and in the upland review area had occurred on the Lemieux and Burlingame property. From the street, fresh fill or disturbed soils could be seen northeast of the home. Subsequently, a review of record drawing 1547 could be seen, that was filed with the town clerk's office revealed wetlands were delineated in or near the area of the disturbed soils. A subsequent viewing of the property from the street confirms this conclusion. A letter of inquiry will be sent shortly to the property owners to get an explanation for the work northeast of the home so that a course of action can be decided. Complaint 20-09, flooding problems at 361 Brandy Hill Road caused by street drainage. I visited the site on June 29th, 2020 with Commissioner Aubert to get an assessment of the problem. Oh, by the way, complaint 2008 had a typo in it. That was seen by Commissioner O'Bara and I on the 29th of June, not the 9th of June. Well, anyways, going back to the 361 Brandy Hill Road, we stopped by the property to get an assessment of the problem. The home at 361 Brandy Hill Road was built in 1986 with no drainage problems until the home at 8 Totem Pole Road was built in 2004. Filling an area where stormwater used to flow. Apparently nobody recognized that when they granted the building permit for 8 Totem Pole Road. Subsequently, and I think it's about 5 years ago, but it's not clear yet, the town installed a catch basin in front of 361 Brandy Hill Road and discharging it to the head wall that drained to the side yard of 361 Brandy Hill Road. Last year, the town repaved the road, and it appears that the drainage changes have occurred, exacerbating the flooding problems caused by causing the stormwater to flood into her garage several inches deep. I'm working with Public Works Director and the Northeast District Department of Health to find out what actions the town can take to address the problem, because it's the town's drainage that's causing her property to be flooded. With no drainage culvert, excuse me, this is complicated because stormwater pools into undeveloped property to the rear of 361 Brandy Hill Road. With no drainage culvert under Totem Pole Road, stormwaters must flood up and then over Totem Pole Road, entering into other private property before reaching Quatic Reservoir. And I'll update you on the status of that at the next meeting. Complaint 20-10, riprapping of the French River bank in Riverside Park. This is a complaint that's currently under investigation, and I'll update you at the next meeting. And then regarding building permits, I reviewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 building permits last month. And then under miscellaneous, I have a request for authorization to purchase a storage cabinet. I'm requesting that the Inland Wetlands Commission authorize the expenditure of up to $200 for half of the cost to purchase a storage cabinet to be shared with a conservation officer for storage of supplies and equipment to free up file cabinet space. The estimated total cost is less than $400. Unexpended funds from fiscal year 19-20 were encumbered, but I cannot spend them until you approve that expenditure. I didn't want to lose the monies. We had them in our budget. They were going to lapse. So I put in a purchase order request for $200. So I'm requesting at this time that you pass a motion authorizing the expenditure of up to $200 for half of the purchase cost of a locking storage cabinet to be shared with Conservation Commission.
I make a motion that we approve up to $200. Is that enough? Is that
Yes.
$200? Okay, to provide a lockable storage cabinet for the combined usage of inland wetlands and conservation.
I'll second that.
Discussion, is it fireproof?
Discussion.
No,
No? Okay. I guess we probably really don't need a fireproof, but
Is everything
okay.
digitized? Is most of the documents digitized that we would be storing there? So you
It's
just
for equipment, isn't
oh,
it?
for equipment. I'm sorry. For
Right.
equipment storage.
because right now my supplies are stored in a file cabinet where files would be stored, but I've got all this other stuff there.
I see. All right. So it seems to be prudent. You want to secure them so they don't walk off, and you know, certainly the town hall is a public place, and even in the current environment, it is there's potentially flight. Things can get lost or find their ways into places they don't belong. So you certainly want to secure them.
Okay, move the vote.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any commissioners opposing the recommendation? Okay, the no opposition. The vote is carried unanimously to spend the funds of $200 to purchase this locking cabinet.
Okay, next item, draft zoning regulations. Since January 2020, I've periodically spent hours of time reviewing and providing comment on draft zoning regulation revisions that are being developed by the Planning and Zoning Commission. My focus was on stormwater management, MS4 permit requirements, and provisions that could affect inland wetlands and watercourses. The draft regulations have been posted on the town's website and made available for public comment and are expected to go to a public hearing in the near future. I should be pretty much done with my input on that. And then for a purchase order request requisition status, we paid $40.83 WB Mason for supplies that I bought at the end of the year before the money's elapsed. And then I encumbered $50, this is from Stonebridge Press, for legal notice for Jessica and Joshua Rhodes for wetlands agent approval 20020, and Beverly Walker, power of attorney for Dorothy Weatherby, WAA 20021. Then I also encumbered $200 for the Elon Corp, that is the town's credit card company, to purchase a storage cabinet to be shared with conservation. And that's the sum of my report.
Do we need to approve it, or is it, do we have to vote on it?
Nope.
Or nope, we're good.
Nope.
Thank you for your report. Correspondence.
There was none that I found. It's been very quiet. For
Signing of
correspondence.
Mylars.
None.
Comments by commissioners.
Marla, I'll see you on Monday.
I'll call you around 10:30.
Okay, great. Move to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, we've moved in second to adjourn. No opposition or discussion?
No, you cannot discuss that. It's Robert's rules.
All right, then. The meeting is adjourned at 9:09 p.m. on July 14th.
We didn't have a
Stay
vote.
safe, everyone.
Do you want to vote on
Stay
it?
safe. Yeah, we voted.
Well
Stay
done.
safe.
We're out.
Oh my God.
Thank you.